Tonight here from Nashville, Tennessee, Game 3 of the 4-game series for the Isotopes against the Nashville Sounds. And as the Bank of the West On Deck show continues, we're joined by Barry Zito, pitcher for the Nashville Sounds. He won the American League Cy Young Award in 2002. Last year out of the game, this year he came back. Let's start with this, Barry. I'm curious, when you made the decision to come back, what did you think you missed about baseball? And now that it's been a full year, what have indeed did you miss?
I mean, I missed, the things that were the reason that I started pitching, either when I was a kid or coming up in the beginning of pro ball, which is just, the things we all love about baseball, the smell of the grass, the sound of the glove and the bats hitting the baseball, things like that, we take for granted when we have big league careers and, we got expectations and pressure and all that other stuff. So I just wanted to enjoy the essence of the game again before I, moved on to new things.
There's pressure, whether it's in the major leagues, the minor leagues, but I'm curious, how would you compare what it's been like pitching here in Nashville and in the Pacific Coast League to what it's like pitching All-Star games, World Series games, and even your major league debut?
I mean, it's definitely relative. It's only as much pressure as you put on yourself. So, I mean, I've certainly had games or, times in my career in the big leagues where I felt free out there and just liberated to go be myself and, felt like, hey, that's enough. That's all I can do. And then there's other times when you just feel like, man, no matter what I do, it's not going to be enough. And you can apply that to yourself here in the PCL, like I said, or in the big leagues. But I've been having a great time here. This has been kind of a bonus round for me. So I've been able to really enjoy just pitching every fifth day. And, it took about a month for me to get that transition going back into pitching every 5 days and certainly dealing with the travel in the PCL. But, it's a pretty great experience for me personally here.
When you were off for that year, how much did you throw a baseball? How much did you watch baseball? How much did you just get away from it?
I started throwing in January of 2014 and basically threw, 4 or 5 times a week until September. Started ramping up and throwing 7 days a week then. And then, all the way up until now. So I think, I probably could have structured my throwing better because, I've had a sore shoulder here these last few weeks, been on the DL, but I'm going to be back in action soon. And, but I was definitely geared towards coming back the entire time. It's not like I sat at home for a year and I said, oh, let me just give this one last try. I mean, it was a plan for me to go out and enjoy baseball and try to get better and then come back.
This is the Bank of the West On Deck show. We're visiting with pitcher Barry Zito. You've started to allude to this, but I want to go into more detail. For a lot of people, they look at the minor leagues and there's this romance to it. Smaller ballparks, a whole lot more community feel with Little League days. And I'm curious, and I've known you for a long time. You've always had a really good perspective, but I'm wondering what that minor league aspect has meant to you.
Yeah, it's really helped me. I mean, it's given me a lot of perspective on my career. It's made me grateful for a lot of the things that I could accomplish through my career. Knowing that, a lot of guys come through the ranks and we're at the highest level of the minors here and a lot of these guys won't really get a chance to do what they do. And it's kind of interesting what I'm seeing now, knowing the game versus what I saw when I was 21 coming up. I mean, guys get put in really difficult positions. There's so much talent here, but if, there's not a guy with a high bonus on his head that got drafted, or, an organization doesn't necessarily like a guy, it almost doesn't matter sometimes how much success they have at this level, and they don't really get the call-ups, and when they do, they don't get to get a chance to start. And so I can give you probably 5 names right now of our team, guys that I know could perform in the big leagues consistently, and they just haven't gotten that chance yet. So,
if you had known going into this comeback that you would spend practically the entire season at AAA, would you still be okay with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the mindset of I got to get back to the big leagues, and prove this and that is the mindset that, led me to not being so happy with the game itself. So for me, it was about enjoying pitching wherever that was, AAA, big leagues, it didn't matter. And I think that's been the biggest takeaway for me this year is that it's always just been about, 60 feet, 6 inches and a hitter in the box. Everything else is kind of secondary to that.
Did you set expectations for yourself, whether it's innings, whether it's anything numerical, or what were your expectations?
No, my expectations were to just go out and be myself and trust my stuff and whatever that stuff was, velocity, this and that. I really took a different approach, and I've been able to, in my opinion, just have a better year more consistently through the year than I have since, probably my last year in Oakland.
In terms of being in this city of Nashville, as musically inclined as you are, how much have you just been able to enjoy the live music, the music scene, and take your two loves and blend them together?
Yeah, it's been huge for me, absolutely. I mean, I talked to a really high-level sports psychologist last year a guy that worked with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and all these great guys, and he said, man, music is who you are. You got to embrace that as you go back to baseball. So, I feel like God just placed me in Nashville, man, and it's been a joy. I have aspirations of being a songwriter and professionally, and not a performer, but a writer. And, I've been able to meet some amazing people out here that have really helped me to meet the right people and, even sit in some rooms and collaborate and write some tunes and, hopefully one day write some hit songs.
All right, and final question. Don't want to get too far ahead of it, but I'm just curious, when will you decide and what will be the factors on what baseball has in store for you when this year's over?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I had a son last year in the summertime, which was great to be around for that, obviously. But for me, I just got to sit down, talk to my family, talk to my wife, really assess everything. I know that music's really pulling me right now. And like I said, I've gotten everything I came back for. So, there's still a chance that I'll go back to spring training next year. But, I'm pretty excited to kind of get into something new.
All right, Barry, thanks so much for your time. You've been great for the PCO this year, and we really appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much.
There's still more to come here on the Bank of the West On Deck show. When we come back, we'll look around the Rockies organization. Roots of the Rockies is coming up next. This is Isotopes Baseball on 610, the sports animal.